Well, this afternoon we're at Roosevelt Elementary, home of the Rough Riders, and this afternoon we've got fourth grader KATELYN with us. How are you today?
Good.
You ready to do two problems?
Yes.
Why not? Okay, why don't you grab a pen, whichever color you like, blue or green. Now, before we go ahead and listen to the problems, and then you'll have your choice of options here for answers, let's just go over place value a little bit, okay? So if we have a decimal point, if we have a whole number, the first place is the what?
Is the ones place.
Right, so we have the ones. And what's the next place value?
The tens.
Tens. All right, what would be the next one?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. All right, we'll just abbreviate that right there, okay? The hundreds, okay? Now we have the decimal point, and that is where you would say and. And after the decimal point, the first place value after the decimal point, do you know what that is? And I'm sure you've heard it probably. Have you heard of tenths?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna put tenths, and it has a TH at the end of it, right? Because it's a part, right? We're talking about a fractional part then. Do you know what would come next?
The
Well, after tenths, we're gonna go to
hundredths.
hundredths, right? And what would come next, do you think?
The ones.
Well, the ones are just gonna be whole ones. So imagine if we were going this way again. We have tens, hundreds,
Thousands.
thousands. So if we have tenths, hundredths,
Thousands.
thousands, so we'd go there, right? Okay. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and take a look at the problem that we're working on, okay? We'll do this one first over here. Can you read the options for us that we have for answers?
0 out of 8,
Right?
1 out of 8, 8 out of 10, and 8 out of 100.
Perfect, okay? Here's the problem. KATELYN lives 0.8 miles from the mall, all right? So 0.8 miles from the mall. Which of the fractions is equal to 0.8?
A.
Well, we have 0 over 8, right? Now, if we read this number, okay, this is in what place value?
The ones.
Right, so it's 0, and then what do you say when you see a decimal point?
Tenths.
And, right? So
Right,
tenths
and.
is correct, right? So it's 0 and
And
how many tenths? 8
Eight
tenths,
tenths.
right? So it's 8 tenths, okay? Which one of these looks like 8 tenths? 8 over 10, 8 tenths.
the C.
C, right? Go ahead and circle C, right? So you read these correctly, right? You said 0 out of 8, 1 out of 8, 8 out of 10, and 8 out of 100. If you wanted to say this, instead of saying 8 out of 10, how else could you say it?
8 tenths.
8 tenths, perfect. How would you say this one instead of saying 8 out of 100?
8 hundredths.
Perfect, all right? We're ready to move on to the next one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Billy walked 2 5/10 miles on a path in the park. 2 5/10. All right. Which one of the decimals is equivalent to 2 5/10? So why don't you go ahead and read these first of all for me?
0, ones, and
So instead of saying them separately, you can just say 25,
25.
and then what place does it end in?
The hundredths.
Right, because there are two numbers there, right? So you said it correctly, 0 and 25 hundredths. Okay, what about the next one?
2 and 5/10.
Perfect, keep going.
5 and 2/10,
Nice,
and 25.
just 25, right? So once again, he walked 2 5/10 miles. Which one of the decimals is equivalent to that mixed number?
C.
Say this one again.
2 and 5/10.
Okay, so which one shows 2 and 5/10?
Oh, B.
B? All right, go ahead and circle it. So read that one more time for me.
2 and 5/10.
Is the same as,
2 and 5/10.
and you've done two problems, wonderfully done. Nice job.
Yeah.